Rogers.
Here.
Rice.
Here.
Dosher.
Here.
McCardle.
Here.
Barrington. Allen.
Here.
Sharps.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Start with citizens input. If you need to address the mayor or members of the city council on an item that was not on the agenda, excluding personnel items, please come forward to the podium, state your name and your concern. Presentations are limited to 3 minutes. Items will be considered and no action will be taken. Is there anybody that wishes to address the council? I have a couple items to discuss with meeting today I want to bring up. Midco is changing their rates, and as part of their franchise agreements, they have to notify us, so I got that letter today. And then a little praise for Mr. Schmidt and the Cornhouse Group. Central Electric Cooperative sent me a letter I got today, so I would like to thank Scott Schmidt and staff at Cornhouse for their help with the Central Electric's annual meeting on April 2nd. Each year the city employees do a fantastic job with our event. They should be commended for the extra effort they've given making our evening a great evening. Their staff was courteous, professional, very accommodating. Scott and his staff were in contact with us to coordinate setup prior as well as present throughout the day to meet any special requests. We were able to host and treat over 850 of our members at our event thanks to great staff and their part in making our annual meeting a success. So thank you very much, Mr. Schmidt. Thank you. Anybody else wish to make comment in the public? Okay. Action to approve agreement 2019-17, 1517 North Main Nuisance Settlement Agreement. Mr. Johnson.
So we've been dealing with the ongoing nuisance situation at 115 and 117 North Main for, and I don't know, several months at this point. We did put together this settlement agreement based off of what the property owner believes that they can commit to. Kind of the need for it is that the property owner does not have the funds available to proceed with the demolition on his own and really has no other way to obtain them other than for the city to kind of help facilitate the process. So the basic idea of how we'd be proceeding here is that the property owner would contract directly with the demolition company. The city would then pay the cost to the demolition contractor directly, and then the property owners would then pay that money back to the city, just as a traditional loan would be, over a period of 20 years with 0% interest. There are certain provisions built into the agreement to deal with a potential default on those payments. In those cases, the city will have an option to purchase the property for $1, and whatever the fair market value of the property is at that time would be credited against the outstanding debt that has not been paid, and the property owners would still be responsible for whatever that amount would still be. But then the city would have the property, and we could seek to redevelop it as we saw fit. There's also some language in there that would allow the property owner to have the dump fees for the city landfill waived, as long as they've paid off the rest of the loan. And there is also some language in there that allows the owners to come in and request the city council to forgive all or part of the debt if the city works out a nuisance agreement with some other downtown owner for demolition that they see as more favorable. So I think that covers all the major terms. If there's any questions for me, I'll open it up for that. Otherwise, the property owner and their attorneys are all here if there's questions for them.
We'll entertain a motion if there's no question.
I guess the only other thing that I'll add, just for the council and the public's consideration, is that in my view, this agreement is going to be as good or better than any remedy that we get through the court system, and it saves us a lot of time.
I'll move approval of the nuisance settlement.
Okay, a motion by Mrs. Jerks,
Second.
second by Mr. Rice. Discussion. Now you can discuss it.
Stephen Larson, just have a few more generic questions about this. So this has been going on for several months. I was guess why the special session for this instead of a normal city council meeting?
Go ahead.
The reason is,
State your name too, so the people listening know who's talking. They can't see you.
right. Good, lucky for them. My name is Don Peterson. I'm Mr. McPeak's attorney. So the reason for the special meeting is that the building has developed a hole, as you guys know, on the south side, and so the quote we have to take that building down is indicating that a company will go in and do some shoring up of the inside of the building so that it can then come down. So it's not the same. So the building on 3rd and Main, that can't happen because it's in too bad of a state that nobody can go in there. So we're very concerned that if that hole keeps getting bigger, they won't be able to go in and shore it up, and so then all of a sudden the cost is going to go from $86,000 to $300,000. So that was the reason to get this going. Construction companies are already getting all their spring and summer work in line, and so we need to get in line to do that. We were told that the company that would come in and do the shoring would have been in there earlier this week because they can do that on a rainy day, and so maybe next week they'll be able to get in. But there's a real need and hurry to get this done.
And so this agreement was reached, must have been after last Thursday?
Yes, it was reached Friday and Monday.
Actually, pretty much yesterday at 11:30.
Yeah, so that's the reason.
We were planning to do a noon meeting yesterday, but we couldn't get it posted 24 hours in advance.
Right.
Yeah, we tried to get it done to have it for last meeting, but
Right.
things were just in negotiations yet. So it
Right.
won't happen.
Okay. And then, do we have a valuation for the land that's going to be left there? I tried to check the county site, but it's currently not functional.
I guess it becomes an empty lot at that point. I don't know what an empty
We
lot.
did check the existing valuation. Steve, you still have the numbers for that?
Yeah, 58,000 and
for the lot.
no, that was just total value of the different buildings, and that's what I was looking for
So
too.
less than that.
If the lot values were on there, and I found the same thing on the county website. You go to the assessor's page and it airs out on you, and
Right.
so you can't see what the
Okay.
building versus the land. But 58,000 for one, I thought 17,000 for the.
I thought it was
For 20?
30 something for
30,
one and 50
anyway, so
something for
less
the
than
other.
that
Right.
because you're just dealing with the bare
land.
ground.
Okay. That's all I need. Thanks.
And those values would not have reflected the nuisance conditions on the property either.
Right.
So. So I guess before we proceed with a vote on the motion, we might need to address one issue here, and I'm just pulling up the contract language again. If we go to section 10, about halfway through, there's a sentence that reads, McPeaks and LLC shall require their selected demolition contractor to similarly indemnify the city and list the city as an additional insured in relation to the project. McPeaks have checked with their contractor and they're not able to provide that language and list the city as an additional insured. So if we do want to approve the agreement, we would want to remove that sentence.
So McPeaks are individually and the LLC that owns it indemnifying. The insurance company for the contractor saying, we don't have any privity of contract with the city because the city doesn't own the property and they're not tearing the property down, so we can't add them as an additional insured. So we have insurance with the contractor, however.
So we just need to take out that one.
Yes.
We just need to take out that one sentence of.
Yep, just that one highlighted sentence up there.
So I will amend my motion with taking that.
And I will second.
Randy, in your second, okay?
I'd just like to say that this has worked out really well, and I've thought that there should be a policy because, you know, there's a lot of, first of all, this isn't the first time, nor will it be the last time, obviously, that there's going to be issues with buildings on Main Street. And this at least establishes somewhat of a policy going forward. You know, the people that are trying to make it on Main Street, you know, it's not like you're putting $300,000 a year in your pocket when you're done with your business. You're struggling just like everybody else is, and these buildings are getting older, and it's not necessarily the building owner's fault because, you know, they don't have the money to put back into the structure. So at least this will at least start a procedure as to how this can happen if it happens in the past. So if the council does approve this, I want to thank them because I think it'll help in the next case.
Further discussion? Anybody else in the audience want to address this?
And I'll make the comment, and Don maybe a little on following on your comments that it does kind of maybe set a template for ways that future ones can go forward, but I want to caution that each case, I guess, that we've seen since I've been here has had very unique and different circumstances. And yes, it might be a template, but I can't guarantee that anything would follow the same pattern. The negative comments and after it was reported since this morning when I've been at work until now, the negative comments I've got well, can I get a zero interest loan from the city, and will you help me with my building? Depending on whether it's nuisance related in the downtown area and what other circumstances, I can't guarantee that the city would tell them yes or no or anything else. So I want to caution on saying that all things in the future will go this way forward, but in the light of expediency of removing the building and getting it having its potential for redevelopment or other possibilities downtown, I'm in favor of having it happen this way and this particular time.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those nay. Motion carried. We're adjourned.